That's the link. So you check your phone. And let's see. You can share that link.
Okay.
With everyone.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, folks, welcome to another episode of Unscripted Table Talk. I have with me in the studio today Mr. Keith Hay of Sunlight Financial, and he's a financial advisor / insurance agent, and he will be talking to us live today about insurance and the importance of financial stability. We do this show every Sunday at 7 p.m. If this is what you want to hear, I advise you to share the link, subscribe, like, and give us your feedback. The number to call is 416-902-3860. And we are about to go live. So, Keith, give us a background of what you do in terms of insurance and financial consultation.
Well, Barry, first of all, thank you for having me on. I'm really passionate about what I do in the life insurance business, especially because what I find in our community is that we either don't know a whole lot about life insurance or we tend to treat it lightly. We tend not to be covered, and even when we're covered, we're not adequately covered. So I appreciate this opportunity to at least answer some questions or give a basic background as to what the life insurance industry is all about.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So, in the past, we were we have some questions from some people calling in about issues in predominantly the Black community, and people not having insurance. So I think insurance is just something that you do when you get old.
Yes.
And we see a lot of young people these days dying from unprovoked causes, provoked causes, less likely dying from natural causes. And some people mentioned last week that GoFundMe was the new insurance policy.
Yes.
That's not something we like to see happen. We like to see people prepare for their untimely departure, or however, at least have some preparation to that.
Yeah.
So if you can speak on the different types of insurance and stuff like that, that way people can get a better understanding of what is out there, what they have access to, and everything.
All right. First of all, let me just clear up one thing. I'm an independent financial consultant, so the Sun Life connection we can erase that because I'm an independent contractor. So let's get that out there first of all.
Okay.
I'm with a managing general agent that allows us to seek for a client the best insurance solution, which means that we can go to a variety of different companies depending on the client situation so that we can give them what exactly suits their needs. Now, just to say something a little bit about life insurance. Life insurance is the way we move the risk, the financial risk faced by those you leave behind to the insurance company. And by doing so, the insurance company pays what is known as a death benefit. But that is just one aspect of life insurance, because for most people who do not take on life insurance, it's because they believe that it's all about leaving something for those who you have left behind when you have passed. And that is not necessarily so. Life insurance can be structured so that it's a benefit for you in your lifetime when you get older, or to solve a particular financial need at this moment. Now, there are essentially two types of life insurance. It's either term life insurance or permanent life insurance. Now, term, as the name suggests, is for a term, for a period of time. So you could have for 10-year term, which means that at the end of 10 years, the life insurance comes to an end unless you renew it. And for a 20-year term, the same thing, it goes for 20 years until you renew it. Most people are covered up until age 85. And then you can look around at the various companies to determine which one suits your needs. On the permanent side, keep going. On the permanent side, there are three kinds of permanent insurance. Term to 100, which means that at the end of 100 years, the insurance policy matures. This, however, for some people is seen as term insurance because it goes to 100 years, a fixed term. However, most of us will not live to 100 years. So for that reason, it's considered as permanent insurance. On the other hand, there's also whole life insurance and universal life. Now, for whole life insurance, the premiums remain fixed as long as the policy is in place. There's an element of cash value to it as well, which most people will find attractive. Universal life is also one that has, you have that for life, as well as it also attracts a cash value.
Yeah.
But universal life is more or less managed by you. You determine how you want the investment side of it to be managed.
Okay.
Whole life, on the other hand, the company, whether by paying dividends or whatever other structure, investment structure they use, you get, in addition to the death benefit, a cash value at the end of the term, at the end of the life of the insurance.
So these terms that you're talking about for the cash value, what are the terms that are available? Is it predefined, or is it something that you guys, the insurance agent and the client agrees on?
Well, in the case of whole life, it's predetermined to the extent that the company tells you that this is what is going to be paid at the end of the year.
Okay.
For example, if you have a whole life policy with a company and it's one that is participating, when a dividend is declared by the company, the dividend is shared among the policyholders within the company, and that goes towards your cash value. So if someone should pass off during the term of the policy, then they get the cash value as well as the death benefit that applies to the policy at the time. Does that explain more or less how?
That explains more or less how thing. So we had a question last week. We had someone called in and they told us that they bought insurance for their kids.
Yes.
And it was a term life.
Yes.
They bought 20 years. So they're paying insurance for their kid until for the 20 years. Hopefully the kid takes it over. And after the 20 years, they no longer have to pay insurance. Is this true, or is there something else that is missing from that?
There's something missing from that, because if after 20 years you're no longer going to pay the insurance
Yeah.
and it's term,
Yeah.
then it means you no longer have insurance.
Okay, so if you die after 20 years,
then you're not covered.
Okay.
However,
yeah,
for young children especially, and going into the teenage years,
yeah,
a policy is out there where you can get a whole life policy,
mm-hmm.
and it is limited to 20 years.
Okay.
So that might be what they're referring to. So after 20 years, there are no more premiums to be paid.
So what becomes of the insurance? Are you still covered?
You're still covered.
Yeah.
But the policy, because of its structure, is for 20 years only.
Right.
So at the end of 20 years, you pay no more premiums, but the policy continues. Because it also has a cash value, the cash value also continues to grow in the policy.
Oh, so this is more of an investment.
It is more of an investment, but it has a death benefit in addition to a cash value. And that's why the very nature, it's whole life.
All right. So in terms of the benefit of this one, does this have more benefit than the term?
Yes. Yeah. Because for one, it has a cash value.
Right.
And for most policies, the cash value kicks in anywhere between 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
So it doesn't kick in automatically.
So this cash value, what can be done with that cash value?
The cash value, you can use it during your lifetime if you need cash.
Right.
Whether you're going to take a loan or you take a withdrawal from the policy. Now, for business persons, this is very attractive because you can plan your retirement around your insurance policy.
Okay.
Meaning that the investments in the policy, you can draw on it when you get to retirement age. Okay. Depending on how you have structured the policy. This is ideally so in the case of a whole life, for instance.
Okay. That is good to know. And I would assume that one you talk about just now is more expensive to buy.
Yes.
That thing. In terms of age to premium, let's say an average healthy person, 18 years, between 18 to what's the structure of the years of the age in terms of years to policy?
When you're younger, clearly the risk of you dying is low.
Technically, yes.
So the risk for the insurance company is obviously less.
Right.
Hence, your insurance will be cheaper.
Okay.
So as you get older, the insurance gets more expensive.
Fair
so
enough.
Waiting to buy insurance is not a good idea.
All right. And I'm not holding by this because I'm going to ask for pricing.
Yes.
Technically, if an 18-year-old walk into an insurance establishment and they're looking for a life insurance, what are the average premiums that they're expected to that you see that they normally pay?
All right, it's difficult to say average premiums because you're looking at a myriad number of companies. Yeah. And they offer different features. Yeah. But for someone who is, say, 18 years old, you can get term insurance coverage for maybe $500,000. Right. For between $20-$30. Okay. And this is for someone who has standard health. So meaning they have no illnesses that
Okay. All right. And are there like medical examinations required to purchase life insurance?
Yes. Okay. For most life insurance policies, there's something called underwriting, which you have to undergo. Yeah. So most times when the application is done, it says that you're standard health because the agent looking at you determines that, well, he looks healthy enough. Okay. But then there's blood work and urine samples that they have to take to determine if there are any hidden illnesses that the insurance company should be aware of to determine how much of a risk you are
towards them.
And obviously this determines whether the price goes up or come back down because you're a preferred candidate.
Okay. And in terms of doctor results and whatnot, is there anything that you guys would say no to, as in terms of insurance and whatnot?
A typical insurance policy, you might get declined for things like cancer. Okay. Stuff like that. Yeah. If you had a stroke. Yeah. Those sort of things might decline you. But within the industry, there are places where you can get coverage for even with an illness, but at a higher rate. Okay. Whether they're gonna double the premium or whatever.
So you then, if the client then has to determine how much insurance is valued to them.
Yes, how much of a value it is to them.
Okay, I see. And the average cost of funeral these days are, within the, $10,000-$20,000, and people these days don't usually, what do you see that's happening out there? What's the trend right now that you see happening? You think younger people these days buy insurance?
No, younger people tend not to buy insurance because I guess when you're young, you believe that you're going to be healthy and you do some crazy stuff.
Right.
You do some stunts on the road because you believe you're just indestructible.
Right.
You cannot get injured.
Right.
But we are seeing young people dying.
Right.
And it's good if you have a parent that is on top of you in terms of telling you how this life works.
Okay.
Because you and I know back in the day when we were growing up, it's the older folks that are dying.
Yes.
And it's some old age-related diseases that generally take them. Nowadays, we have kids getting cancer.
Yeah.
Children getting some of these terminal illnesses that we normally see attached to older ages.
Yeah.
So everybody needs some sort of life insurance.
And that is what I would suggest to people.
Yeah.
So if you were to pitch something at people or listening audience right now, what will you tell them to encourage them to buy insurance based on what you saw and the struggles? I must, in your field, you must have seen someone like, who don't have coverage.
Yes.
People dying. And you may have seen it directly because you go to church.
Yes.
You may have seen the direct implications of not, having insurance and the way you're put down.
Well, Barry, it's it's really a sad situation because there are stories that abound that alerts us as to why it's important to have insurance. For instance, as a man, as a family man with children, especially, you plan to be around because nobody plans to die, right?
Yeah.
But death is guaranteed to all of us, some earlier than others. Now, if you and I knew when we were going to die, then clearly we'd do things differently. We'd make sure, okay, it's coming up next year, so I better put certain things in place.
Yeah.
But that is not the reality.
Okay.
The reality is there is sudden death.
Yeah.
So having a plan in place at all times is very important. Now, if you have insurance, and I've seen people with insurance, and when times get hard, the finances are a little tight.
Yes.
They figure that, okay, let's get rid of this insurance policy because I cannot afford to pay it anymore.
Okay.
Then the sickness comes in.
Right. Is there a way, like, let's say you have an insurance policy going and you lose your job, you don't have no income coming. Is there a way you can defer some months?
Yes.
Yeah.
Depending on the policy you have.
Yeah.
Some policies have, especially the permanent insurance that has a cash value.
Yeah.
They'll go into an automatic premium loan.
Okay.
And there are others that will allow you to skip a payment, defer a payment because of financial hardship.
Okay.
So talking to the insurance company is the best way to go.
Okay.
Because missing one premium will not cancel your policy.
Okay. Missing a few premiums.
Missing a few will probably cancel it.
But then again, someone would call you and ask.
They would alert you as to what's going on, and then they'll defer some payments so that you can get on top of things.
Right. It looks like we have a caller calling in. So, hello.
Hey, good evening. I have a question for the gentleman.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
I have a question. So, if you have a fixed-term insurance policy, and it's coming up for, I guess, the end of the term, how long do you have before you can make a decision to change it into a permanent?
Okay. The insurance company usually advise you that the term is coming to an end, and the premiums obviously will go, especially if you have a term insurance and the term is coming to an end, then the premiums generally increase astronomically.
Yes.
So one of two things can happen. If you're on top of things and you read your policy document, which most people probably don't, you will know that when the premiums increase, it's going to increase, for example, from $20 a month to something like $100 a month. So that's a big jump. So you are alerted as to the date that it's going to change and whether you want to continue or not. So you have the option of deciding that, okay, I don't want to continue because I cannot afford it. Or I still want this policy, but I don't want that amount of coverage anymore because I cannot afford to keep the same coverage. I can afford to pay a lesser premium, which would entail a lesser coverage. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, it makes sense. So let's say, for instance, you have a $500,000 policy and it's coming up for renewal, and then it's going to jump from like the $100 you're paying now to $300 a month. Then you can say, hey, I want to keep the policy, but can you bring it down to like 150,000 or maybe 200,000? Can you do that with them?
Yes, you have that option.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Not a problem, sir.
Thank you for calling.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. So Keith, yeah, we have questions, and so far you provide with a lot of information.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said earlier, with people not having insurance and they're dying, whether by natural causes, you get in an accident or something. What are you able to tell us in terms of having insurance, them paying for it, and not having?
Well, one thing I can tell you off the bat is it is never a good idea to cancel your insurance policy.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, there is no way to determine that I'm going to live till I'm 60 or I'm going to live until I'm 70.
Yeah.
You are not in control of that.
Yeah.
So the uncertainty is why you take out the insurance in the first place.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you keep that. Now, whether you reduce it because of affordability, that is what will probably make sense. But to cancel it altogether is never a good idea. And if you don't have insurance, you really should consider getting a policy.
Okay.
And here's why I'm saying that. If you take out a mortgage, for instance, the bank will require that you have insurance so that in the event that you die, who is going to pay the balance that's left on the mortgage? So for that reason, the bank requires you to get
an insurance.
Well, what the bank calls mortgage insurance.
Yeah.
Which is probably not the best thing for you because when you pay down that mortgage, you're still paying that amount of premium for the mortgage insurance. And the coverage that you're getting is less because in the event that something happens to you late in the mortgage cycle, the bank gets whatever they should get, but nobody else get anything, meaning your beneficiaries don't get anything.
Oh, okay. So
the mortgage insurance covers just the bank mortgage only. The bank only.
So
that's something.
So basically, with a mortgage insurance, it covers the bank, but it doesn't cover your burial or any.
No.
Oh wow.
No.
That's a bit selfish.
Well.
Oh man, that's some good info.
It's something to think about. And my experience in my community is it's very difficult to convince someone who has gone into the mortgage insurance with the bank that they need their own personal life insurance. I can understand how to explain it otherwise, but they never seem, well, not never, but most people don't seem to buy the reasoning that they need their own insurance.
Okay, so which brings me to this though. If you have, let's say, a substantial life insurance, do you know if that can be used to cover your mortgage? Will the bank accept that as proper insurance for their mortgage?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have your own personal life insurance policy,
yes,
the bank will ask if you have coverage.
Right.
And obviously, if your answer is yes, they might ask for proof because for some banks, it's important to them that you have the mortgage insurance in the event of a default or you die suddenly or your spouse dies suddenly.
Okay.
good thing with the mortgage insurance is that it's better than no insurance.
Right.
Because, for example, in a marriage situation, a wife and husband, the husband dies suddenly.
Yeah.
Then the wife now doesn't have the burden of that mortgage anymore because the bank, through its mortgage insurance policy, clears the balance.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Right.
But what about the rest of the family?
Okay.
What about the wife?
Yeah.
What about maintaining the lifestyle that they are used to? Who will cover that?
True.
And that's where your own personal life insurance comes in.
Okay. So, which means that the personal, if let's say you houses in Toronto these days are over 500K.
Yeah.
So your personal life insurance must be able to be greater or equal to what you intend to borrow from the bank in order for them to accept it, right?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I have some question here. So question here, if you had insurance with your ex-wife and you divorce, can you still keep it after divorce?
Yes. There are changes you can make to the beneficiary.
Yeah.
Meaning, if the beneficiary, when the policy was set up, was deemed revocable,
yeah,
then you can make changes. All right, you have a new wife.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take the old wife off the beneficiary list,
yeah,
and put the new wife.
Okay.
You can do that if the beneficiary was revocable.
I hear. Okay.
No, it's important that I say that.
Yes.
Because if it's irrevocable,
yeah,
even though she has now gone,
yeah,
you cannot change anything on that policy. Of course, you can lapse the policy.
Okay, and that will lead to higher premiums later on when you try to,
because now you have to qualify again for a new insurance policy.
Oh, yes. Okay, that makes sense. I do see what you're saying there. So these are some of the questions that I think people might have. What you can do for me, Keith? Can you possibly put together like a spreadsheet, a Q&A?
Yeah.
At the end of this video, I am going to put your contact details.
Yes.
As well as a few frequently asked questions that I think in relation to insurance.
Right.
And I think people will generally, be happy to see something like that.
Yes.
Just a few simple questions that you get asked all the time.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure in the insurance field, people calling all the time and they have all kind of
the insurance field is a wide field, and what I'm discussing here today is just a tip of the iceberg. Okay.
So moving off insurance, you are a financial consultant as well. What advice that you think you can give? What free advice? That you think you can give out to people these days? Basic questions.
Well, first of all, I would recommend that everybody has a will. Everybody make a will.
Okay, very important.
That's a big issue in our community, especially.
Mm-hmm.
We generally don't believe in making a will because the perception, and I hope I'm wrong, is that when you make a will, you're going to die. But whether you make a will or not, you're going to die. So having a will is a big thing, because without a will, you're actually giving the government of Canada the authority to take some of that money for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you could have given it to a family member.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you need life insurance.
Yeah.
Of course, to take care of the uncertainty of a sudden death or a death in the family. Beyond that, you need to make use of the things, the instruments that the government allows you. For example, an RESP.
Yeah.
For as a child is born and they get their social insurance number, you should probably get an RESP for them, because the government matches 20% of whatever you put in up to a maximum of $500. And then there are bonuses and there are grants that are given in addition to that. So you should consider doing that unless you're wealthy enough that you probably won't need it.
Okay.
And here's why you need to do that. When a child gets to the age to go to university, especially a child that has showed promise that they really want to do this, it's difficult knowing that you would like the child to go, but one of two things has to happen. Either the child takes a loan from OSAP in which case they have the burden of having to pay this back afterwards.
We discussed this last week,
Last week as well.
And I want you to touch on it because, you're the professional in this room in terms of that. So I would rather you touch on these kind of things and reiterate what we said, last week.
And it is important that you do that because the government is actually paying the child to go to school, so to speak. So unless you really can afford to send the child to school without the assistance of that, then it's really foolhardy to just ignore it. Yeah. And the earlier you start, the better.
Right.
All right, that's one. When you start working, you need to consider that at some point in time, you have to retire. So starting to save early towards retirement is a plus.
Okay.
You don't want to wait around until you all of a sudden you're 40.
Yeah.
And you're still living paycheck to paycheck.
Okay.
Now, clearly things can happen that determines that that's the way your life goes.
Okay.
But if you do some planning, put some proactive planning in place, save something regardless of the amount that you're earning. Mm-hmm. Save something. Not living paycheck to paycheck and consuming all you earn, because that is what we generally tend to do, especially when you're young.
Yeah.
You don't think that at some point in time you may not be able to go to work because you either have an illness or you're now at the point where you're old enough to call it a day and say, you know what, I can't do this work anymore. Yeah. I'm going to retire now.
So basically, if you're young, whatever stage have you, and you put aside something from beginning, you could alter your suggested retirement age.
Yes.
Okay. And I assume that different plans available and with different rewards.
Yeah.
And
I should add quickly, if you see a financial advisor, especially early in life, let's say you just started working, try to see a financial advisor who will determine the route that you should take depending on when you want to retire and how much money you want to have when you retire.
Okay.
Because there's a financial model that can determine what you should save, how much you should save, and what instruments you should use. Whether you should use a TFSA, which is a tax-free savings account, or an RSP, or if you're fortunate enough to have a company pension, then how you should invest these monies to ensure that you retire at the age that you want to retire. Because there's a way of doing it. And obviously things happen in between. For example, a sudden death can set your plans off.
Right.
Then you have the benefit of a financial advisor to get you back on track to say, okay, we need to adjust this and change this and put more money here so that we achieve the same result that we intended.
Okay. So I have a question here. Would you recommend the RSP, tax-free savings account, and why? What would you recommend from being in your field?
All right. I recommend both.
Yeah.
But they are for different stages of your life.
Okay.
Now, at some point in time, an RSP might not make any sense for you because one of the purposes of the RSP is to defer taxes.
Yeah. Just give me 1 second. Let me
call coming in.
Call coming in. Hello? 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 Oh, I guess not.
Last one.
So, you were saying the RSP.
Right. So, at some point in your working life, an RSP might not make sense for you.
Yeah.
Especially if you have not maxed out your tax-free savings account.
Okay.
Now, they should work hand in hand.
Right.
Unless your strategy is to save on taxes, then you're leaning towards the RSP.
Yeah.
But you need both.
Yeah.
Because one of the knocks that I heard somebody had against an RSP is that, well, this lady wanted to fix her roof. She needed to do some roof repairs, and she wanted to take some money out of her RSP to fix it. Now, clearly, that's not a good idea because of the tax implications. Because you're now going to pay tax on the amount that you take out.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be added to your income in that year. to be taxed again. So it's never a good idea to take it out just to do frivolous things like that.
We have another caller.
Yes.
I want to ask you some questions. Plug it in. Hello, caller, you live?
Hi, it's Crystal. I have a question for Keith.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Keith. I just wanted to ask, you were speaking in regards to finding a financial planner that could help you get away from paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
What are some of the qualifying factors that we should look for to make sure that a financial planner is in fact knowledgeable about those tasks and not just there to get your money later on?
Crystal, can you rephrase that question?
Sure. So the misconception for most financial planners is eventually they want you to invest in something that some bonds or some RSPs in favor of them giving you a free walkthrough in terms of building some financial planning, right?
Yes.
So what qualifying factors should we look for when essentially we're interviewing a financial planner to make sure they're the right fit for us?
Well, what you want to do is to make sure that they have the required level of education that determines that they are experienced in what they're advising you on. And the company that they represent is also a big help, because the big companies in the industry, they are very keen on training on and putting together whether it's a software or a financial planning instrument that they use to do all the projections for you. Now, if all of that is in place, you're ahead of the game. If it's someone who is going to be writing things on pieces of paper rather than using a software, then you might want to wonder if this is the one that you want to use. Does this answer your question?
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
In addition to that, before you go, Crystal, we want to make sure that they have the required certifications, whether it's a certified financial planning designation, or if you're an older person, an elder planning council designation, or a CLU, if you're a certified life underwriter. You know, there are designations within the industry that you can do research on yourself to see whether this is a fit for you, according to what the advisor has.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Thanks.
Okay. So Keith, I have another question here. When you have an RSP account, what age would you recommend you move to a registered retirement income?
That's difficult to say, because it depends on the stage that you are in life. When you have contributed to an RSP, the idea is that you're going to make use of these funds in your retirement. And when you get to age 71, December of the year you turn 71, the government requires that you have to take these monies out in tranches, meaning there's a calculation that they use to say that this is a minimum amount you have to take out of the RSP for the years going forward. Now, at this point, you are also taxed on the money that you take out. So you want to take out the minimum at each time. However, if the RSP is all that you have in terms of your retirement income, you might be challenged in that you'll be paying taxes on more rather than on less. Now, if you have other instruments to supplement your income, like, for example, if you have a rental income, and this will help you, or if you have a company pension, this will help you to take the lowest amount out of the RSP during your retirement. And one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you take the lowest amount out of it is because when you get the old age security, if your income is above a certain threshold, then they have what is known as a clawback, meaning they take back the old age security from you. And you don't want to lose that, because that's a good benefit to have when you're in retirement.
Okay. So what else would you add based on the questions we have in so far in terms of financial planning?
Well, I think the big thing for me is life insurance, because we tend to want to either delay life insurance plan for later in life, or we completely ignore it.
Yeah.
Because I've come across adults who still have misconceptions about life insurance.
Okay.
So I think it's incumbent on us as life insurance agents and financial advisors to educate people, whether through this medium or otherwise, of the dangers of not having insurance. Because as you suggested earlier, the trend nowadays is to have a GoFundMe page for when somebody dies, rather than you have something in place to take the burden off your family. Yeah. And if you're a mature husband, for instance, you want to make sure that your family is taken care of, even if you're not around.
That is true. That is true. And in terms of GoFundMe and other things that are, seem to be in place of life insurance these days, what would you say? Is there any way to convince the younger generation to look at their finances, to invest in themselves? Yeah. Of course, you're young. You're gonna want a few material things. Yeah. You start working. You want to spend on a few things. What sort of saving tips, advice from a financial perspective would you give to a younger person who just started working?
You want to make sure that as an adult, someone of influence on this young person, a parent, a pastor, or a teacher, somebody who they look up to, a center of influence. You want to make sure that you tell them the things that they should hear, rather than investing in having a good time, wearing the best clothes, the expensive sneakers. Advise them about things like, you want to take a trip. When you go on vacation, you want to be able to afford it. You want to make sure that if something happens, you can go 3 months without having to struggling to find
so basically
food
an emergency
to
fund.
subsist.
Yeah, emergency fund for 3 months.
So you want to be putting something away, so that when the hard times come, as they generally do, you have something to fall back on. And saving early in life is a big thing that we need to get across to children. Okay. When you start working, save something. Make sure that saving, like tithing at church, make sure that tithing comes out of what you're earning, so that you get into the habit of doing it early in life, rather than having to catch up, as most adults have to do.
And I assume you have kids.
I don't have any children. I had a son, and he passed. He passed last year.
No problem. My condolences to you with that. Well, there's son growing up. What sort of saving advice did you give it to him? Did you have a piggy bank?
Oh yes.
Like,
you want to instill in the child the art of saving.
Yes.
For example, when as you mentioned, piggy bank. Yeah. At a young age, you want them to save, whether the quarters or the dimes that they have, the spare change.
Yes.
You put it in a piggy bank, so to speak, or some container.
Yeah. So
and then at a regular interval, you take it to the bank.
Okay.
Accompany them to the bank.
Yeah.
Assist them to open a bank account. Show them the importance of having their own money.
Okay.
Put something on it for them. Give them some allowance to say, this is for your savings, so that you're encouraging them to save from an early age. Yeah. And this will be important for them.
I think so too, because once you're exposed to saving from an early age, then saving in your adulthood becomes a bit more natural.
Yes.
Than foreign. When you're growing up. But yes, you would still, as a young person, you would still buy one or two things that may not seem necessary as to other adults. But if you can encourage them, I don't say look in their bank account, but monitor them for a bit and make sure that they are, at least saving.
Yeah, and you should play an active role in your child's life. So if there's money missing, then they should be able to tell you, well, mom or dad, I needed so and so. Rather than them hiding, to take the money out when you are not looking.
Okay.
So they get the discipline of saving and not just drawing on it when they need to do some.
Okay, so every now and then you put a spot check in your account, and you check.
Yeah.
to make sure everything is okay.
Yeah.
So far, I like the advice. That the comments I've been getting, people are really feeling what you're saying, and they've been getting some good thing. Keith, I know you have to go to your other engagement tonight.
Yeah.
In closing, anything that you want to add? Anything you want to say?
Well, it's just thank you again for the opportunity of being here
Yes.
and to telling people something.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's something that is transforming for them, because you know the way I see things are going with the breadwinner dying, and there's nothing in place even to do something like a simple burial.
Yeah.
We need to get away from that.
Okay.
And I see it way too often in my community. And I'm praying that it will come to a point where we will start doing some saving early.
Yeah.
Think wisely about life insurance.
Yes.
Make sure that something is in place so that when the unexpected happens.
Yeah.
Because the unexpected is life. Life happens. You know? So when that happens, we have something in place so that we don't have to be scrambling, whether among relatives or among the church, to get something together because you have passed suddenly.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we turn the corner when it comes to that.
So we're going to touch on one more thing before you go.
Yes.
Someone mentioned that young people do not really think about insurance because it's not the first thing on their minds.
True.
Because it's not taught in schools.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I read an article recently where they are trying to start a course like that in school. I think they're having a pilot program somewhere.
Okay.
And it's something that for financial advisors,
yes,
it's something that we would welcome.
Yeah.
Whether you invite someone in, somebody who's obviously certified in the particular area that you want them to expound on.
Okay.
To come into the schools, because that's a great place to start.
Yeah.
Because we give the kids allowance.
Yeah. Okay.
And what do they do with it?
They spend it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And whether it's a sneakers or a new outfit, generally they don't save anything out of it.
Okay. So giving yourself a financial as a financial work to do, would it be something that, you can talk to your colleagues and your peers on something and maybe, pitch something to the TDSB to do like school programs or whatnot?
And as I mentioned, that program that I see going on, I would like, as an industry, we piggyback on it, because well, for selfish reasons, it would make our job easier.
Right.
But beyond that, it would make us as a nation, a nation of savers, rather than having this astronomical debt that we have as individual. Personal debt is way out of whack.
Yeah. And that is true, because you see a lot of kids these days, they live off their credit cards.
Yes.
I don't think they understand the implications of credit cards until they receive a call from someone.
Yes. And one of the things we need to understand as individuals when we're here in North America is that credit is the biggest thing that you have.
Yeah.
Credit is the greatest thing that you have, because without that, unless you have the $500,000 or the 600,000 to buy a house, you're going to have to go to the bank and you have to qualify to get it.
Okay.
So protecting your credit and saving towards something is very important.
So parents out there, take note. You just heard it from a financial advisor, and he gave some great tips. I will be putting all his details in the description of the video.
Yeah.
And as well, he's going to provide me with some frequently asked questions, as well as his contact details for further clarification and information. So Keith, thank you for being here, and wish you all the best tonight.
Barry.
And it was always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for coming.
I really appreciate it, Barry, and I look forward to talking to you in the future. And
I will.
This program is great. I'm really glad that there's a forum like this that we can use, and I'm sure it will only grow from strength to strength.
I wish it does too.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
All right.
Thank you. So next up, we have coming from we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to speak to Kelly, and she's going to speak about mentorship and other things relating to young teens and people over the years of 12 and older. And just give us 1 sec while we get Kelly on board. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
All right. So this is a new show that we talk about.
Mhm.
And I did a brief introduction of you just now. If you can come closer to the mic just a little.
Is that close enough?
That's close enough. So Kelly, I am going to hand it over to you. Just give us a brief description of what you do.
Okay, so I have an art space. I have 2 things happening right now. So first, I started with an arts-based mentorship program called Mentortain Me. And basically what I do is I work with females ages 12 and up. And we basically get together once a week. It's an opportunity for them to get together, work with other females in their age group, age category. And we pretty much cover different topics or issues that females go through on a regular basis. But the arts part of it basically stems from me partnering arts activities. So paint, visual arts, performing arts, all kinds of different types of arts with these activities. So for instance, if we are doing bullying, for instance, with our younger group, what I would do is I would have a something called like Paint My Emotions, where they would take a point in time in their life where they can remember going through an experience with bullying or that sort of thing, or somebody that they know, and take that emotion and I would give them a canvas, for instance, with paint, and they would just, put that emotion onto.
So I'm gonna interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
Bullying seems to be a very big topic
Mhm.
in schools these days. Give us some insights and background on what you see happen. Some not calling names or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but some sort of stories or insights you see from.
So different things that I've
witnessed and
or
come across, like
heard about that sort of
heard
thing.
about.
Right now, I think the biggest thing, and I know a lot of people don't like to bring it to the surface,
Right.
is sexuality.
Okay.
Okay. A lot of the people that I've worked with recently are going through this change where they don't know who they are right now in that sense,
Okay.
in that regard. And they're very vulnerable.
Uh-huh.
And especially, or you have the people that do know, they're very confident about it, but other people aren't comfortable with it. So they tend to be targeted.
Yeah.
And they become victimized and that sort of thing. That's right now, that's the biggest thing.
Okay. And you're assisting people like this with the arts
Mm-hmm.
and different things that you do
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. You've been making a lot of videos on YouTube lately, helping people to go through different situations in life and whatnot. And you yourself have been through some stuff right now. So, Kelly, we're gonna go dig in some background, and you did provide me with an extensive bio. What made Kelly today?
Well, I wasn't, for those of you guys who know me, I am very strong-minded. I'm very opinionated, and I have a little bit of a tooth. But I wasn't always like that. As a matter of fact, I was told that I was a little more quiet and passive growing up. So I was a young mom. I had my first child at the age of 14.
Yeah.
I was in a very abusive relationship in many ways. And a lot of times people will tell me or ask me, if you could do it again, because you started so young, you had to grow quickly, would you change anything? My answer is no. I don't know where I would be right now. I'm not saying I'd be, wasting my life. I just don't, I know for a fact that I wouldn't be as strong as I am now.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be able to give back and help these girls and these women
Yeah.
the way I can.
Okay.
So
does your mentorship include young males as well?
no, but
Uh-huh.
I do want to eventually introduce a feature where it's not in a whole program, but it's like maybe a couple months.
Okay.
Because as much as I am here to help these women continue to evolve and to grow and realize their worth, I hope you don't take offense of this, but a lot of times, or most of the time, it stems from being abused or in relationships with men. Okay. Whether it's, I'm not even talking about romantic necessarily. I mean, even having a lack of a male figure in their life or that sort of thing. So I feel like, well, let's not just work with the women, but let's fix the problem. So yes, I do plan on having a feature eventually where I am working with young males. But that's like future.
Okay. So right now you're just concentrating on females that are
on my queens.
On your queens. Okay. Okay. And you said you were in a domestic abusive relationship, and that has shaped your life in a way that you are today. Can you speak more about not the abusive relationship, but how it has shaped your life?
Like I said, so being in that relationship, I was very passive. A lot of times it stemmed from fear. Let's be honest. That's why a lot of women that are going through it, or young girls or whatever, we don't leave right away. And it's not because, a lot of people are like, are you stupid? Why would you stay in that relationship? It's not about that. You're really you're scared.
Right.
And a lot of times you're also trained to believe that nobody else is going to want you, so you feel stuck. But honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, what got me out of it was God, a lot of prayer and a lot of faith. And if you watch my YouTube video, Entertain Me, you'll see that story, and that's what got me out of it. Nothing else. And that basically is what helped me to develop my strength in my faith. Because once I realized, I already knew that God is God and, what he can do for me. But it was kind of like, if I didn't know, I knew at that moment. And that's basically what built my strength and strengthened my faith and got me out of that situation. Did I answer your question?
Yes, to some extent.
Just try again.
So let's take a different approach with it. What were the options that you have besides God in this relationship? Did you have support from family? Did you have support from friends?
Yes and no. Honestly, no. When I was growing up, and we'll talk about more when we talk about the actual program again, or the service, but I didn't have the kind of program that I'm offering now. I didn't have a group of females that I could sit around with and relate to and share my stories with. God was really my only option. And yes, I had support from family, but even then it was kind of like, you made your bed, you got to lay in it. So no, that was my only option.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're able to have this program as an avenue of trust that young females can relate to.
And women, yes. I do have a women's program as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So, sorry, that was the first part of what I do. The second thing is I just recently am in the process of partnering with the TDSB.
Yeah.
So for the young ladies who are watching right now, I will be hitting up all of your schools. I'll be doing workshops as well as motivational speeches and that sort of thing. So look out for me. Because I'll be coming your way.
Okay. And what does it take for a young female to get into your circle, to join, to reach out to you?
What do you mean, what does it take?
So how did they just call you up and randomly want to talk?
Yeah,
or?
You can hit me up on all of my social media platforms, on Facebook at Mentertain Me. Instagram is MTMKDEE, even on YouTube.
Yeah. We're going to put all those things in the description.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to put all those things.
You can reach me any time of day on any social media platform if you want. And I will be letting everybody know when the program starts again. It does normally run from October to June.
Okay.
And then into the summer because we do a performance at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, You just have to be female and interested.
Okay.
You really don't even have to be going through anything, honestly. Like we also need a lot of positive, girls that can come in and share their positivity.
Okay. While doing this program, do you, let's say, young lady comes in and does not fit the requirements of your program?
Why wouldn't she fit the requirements?
I don't know. They're just mischievous. Those
are the ones I want.
Those are the ones you want.
Those are the ones I want.
Okay, so
yes,
you wouldn't turn anyone away.
No,
you wouldn't,
absolutely not.
Okay, that's good to know. And
queens come in all shapes and forms.
Okay, and they just gotta be groomed and
exactly,
and everything. So tell us, right now you see you're going to different schools. You're trying to partner with a TDSP, and could you give us a bit more insight? So right now you're doing a program. There must be like a place or location you guys do your talk.
Right.
Is that somewhere accessible? Is that somewhere what part of the city?
So right now we have one location that we're working out of. It's the Asian Court Baptist Church in Scarborough. Which is why I also wanted to do the TDSP thing, because not everybody can
get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that's where we are starting October.
Okay. And is it just yourself? Is it other people that are involved?
So I do the majority of the workshops and the talks and that sort of thing. Because remember, it's really sensitive, especially when you're working with females. Let's be honest, we are sensitive. And the topics are sensitive and that sort of thing. So I try to build trust with them first. It's really hard to peel away the layers and that sort of thing. So I can't have too much traffic. I can't have too many people coming in and out, just because of the trust issues and that sort of thing. But there are certain workshops that I wouldn't necessarily, run.
Okay.
So I would have, once in a while, I'd have other people come in.
Okay. And this is a completely free service. This is something that you're putting your time in.
This was a completely free service. It's coming October. It's no longer, but there's good reason for that.
Okay.
We have a lot more to offer now. But it is very, very affordable, because I know that, I'm a single mom too. So
Okay. And the average average person can afford.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you have an idea of the pricing, or that's something you want to?
You can contact me, and I will give you all the information you need.
Okay, and we will definitely put that thing. What else are you offering? What are you doing these days? I know you were involved in dance groups and stuff like that. Do you still do that?
Yes and no, not really. Honestly, I was even working in the medical field not too long ago. I just decided to pack up everything else. This is my heart. This is my focus.
Okay.
So this is what I want to do. But again, I kind of get the best of both worlds, because we do a dinner and performance at the end of the season. So that's my way of being able to still teach dance and that.
So tell us about the dancing, because you were in ballet and choreography.
Oh my gosh, yes. I've done videos and all that sort of thing. I'm leaving it to the young people now. I'm aging, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So going back to your story, growing up, it was your bio, which if you give me permission, I would love to share it. It's quite interesting, and going through what you've been through and still emerging. It's quite our story, and I think you should tell it more often. Because a lot of young people that are going through their own things, whether at home, at work, at school, or something. Everyone's going through something. What advice would you give someone who is mentally down because of their own reasons?
Okay, I have an outfit change. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'll answer this question.
Oh, wow.
You guys ready? Okay, I'm ready. What advice would I give somebody who is mentally down?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. When you become, I'm going to say down, mentally, it starts to affect everything else.
Yeah.
Right? So, for instance, somebody who is depressed or is going through anxiety because of everything that's going on in their life, I have many times where I've had
Anxiety.
anxiety attacks. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. Even up until a couple months ago.
Okay.
We're all human.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean we're going through a whole bunch of things. Everybody goes through something different. Okay. However, it doesn't just affect your brain anymore. Mentally, you become physically tired, and then you become emotionally tired. So I think what I would say is, number one, you have to realize the things that are causing these things to happen. The things that are causing you to be mentally tired. Get rid of your stressors, number one, if you can. Anything that's making you unhappy, whether it's relationship, whether you're overwhelmed because of kids or school or work, my first suggestion is you need to realize what those things are and take a step back and try to approach them differently. If it's a situation that you can't really get out of, let's say, again, you're in an abusive relationship, that sort of thing, seek help.
Okay.
My number one is pray. Prayer works. And even if you're not spiritual,
that's what I was going to touch on, because a lot of people,
if you're not spiritual, I say just try it anyway.
Yeah.
He's always listening, and the proof is in the prayer.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, seek help. There are so many resources out there where you can get help no matter what the situation is. You could just need a break from everyday life or from your kids or that sort of thing, and it's wearing you down. There's so many resources out there. Number three, contact me. That's why I'm here. Contact me. This is what I do.
So in terms of people reaching out to you, obviously you have your off hours where you need to spend time with your family and whatnot. No?
I mean, yes.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
sorry, children. Yes, but I always tell them, call me anyway.
Right.
If there's a moment where I can't answer the phone, I will still message you right away and say, hey, is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can I call you back? Can I call you right back? I'm always available though. I don't care what time of night it is. I've honestly gotten calls at 2:00 in the morning from people saying, hey, like I'm on the road, I'm scared. Can you come pick me up? And I've done it.
Okay.
And I'll, sit with them and I'll talk to them and until I can take them home and they're okay.
Right.
So it really doesn't matter. This is, I've committed to it. So this is what it is.
And that's good. That's good that there's something out there for someone who's going through stuff and they need to speak to someone. So I'm glad that, you're here giving out this info. And I hope that people can contact you, because like I said, everyone is going through some stuff. And I really think you shouldn't limit it to just females. I think you should, because you're basically a therapist, to most people. And most people don't, they don't want to go sit down and speak to a shrink or something. And you have gone through life situations that will make you qualify to answer some of the questions. And, you've seen stuff growing up, you've worked with people through different arts and whatnot. Getting back to the arts, tell me about your whole painting and pain release program. I don't know if that's what they call it, but stress release.
Let's generalize it. So a lot of people know, and some people don't know, that the arts is very therapeutic.
Okay.
Think of the first thing you do when you're just having a crappy day. What's the first thing you would normally do?
Me personally, I would probably get something to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cooking is an art,
okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
And eating can be an art too.
Yeah.
The way I do it.
Okay.
So, trust me, it's something special.
What, you use a spoon fork thing? What's the difference about?
Yes,
chopsticks.
Yes. Yes, no.
Okay.
But the arts can be so the first thing people do normally is they turn on music.
Okay.
Like when I'm having a stressful day, or like honestly, there's days where I just feel lazy and I don't want to do anything. We all have those moments.
Yeah.
I throw on some soca and all of a sudden my house is clean. You know what I'm saying? Music speaks to you. A lot of people they're introverts. And this is also why I have this service or this program, is because there's females out there, young and old, that don't know how to express themselves, or they just don't want to. They're not comfortable doing. They're introverts, right? So they take it to the arts. They start writing poems or stories or songs and music, or they paint, or, they sing. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to know how to sing, but like all of us go in the shower sometimes, right? And we have our concerts. No, am I the only one? Like the smoke and mirrors and everything? I do it.
Okay, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. So You're laughing. I'm so serious.
No, I know. I'm pretty sure. Like I've sung in the shower and whatnot. It was. I'm glad it's me alone. I hear my own voice, but that's okay. But yes, I can see how that might help.
And even I know a lot of people that again they'll just go to Dollarama, they'll grab some paints, they'll grab those $2 canvases, and they'll just paint. You don't know. You don't have to know. It's a release.
I never knew those existed, but I'll take that up.
And they have big ones, black ones, big white ones.
Yeah. Okay. Dollarama.
And they're not paying me for this advertisement, by the way.
All right. So I'm gonna probably put my paint in there next week, when I'm stressed, because I do go through some stressful days. So people, if you see a painting on the wall next week,
Barry did it. He was stressed.
I was stressed.
That's right.
But that is good to know that there are different avenues like this that you can, really stress and talk to someone. So these art sessions, are they included in your program?
So I'm not an art teacher. I want to put it out there.
Right.
Okay? They're not art sessions.
Okay.
I am not Michael's. But yes, all of the topics that we cover. So this is why it's so long. This is why it goes from October to June.
Yeah.
It's because we have so many topics that we cover.
Okay.
And each topic is partnered with some sort of art form.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not only painting, but
not just painting.
Yeah.
We sometimes we'll have like scavenger hunts with photography, or I'll have them write poems, or they'll write songs and perform to each other. And I teach that dance is my thing. It's been my thing since I was little.
Yeah.
So we definitely incorporate dance into that as well.
Okay.
So yeah, anything you can think of.
Oh, and so is it going to be like once a week? Is it going to be multiple?
Right now it is once a week. Going forward, what's going to start happening is right now the program is from ages 14 to 18.
Yeah.
And I did also have a women's program. So I'm going to redevelop the women's program again and also add a younger, so like a preteen. So let's say from like ages 11 to 13.
Okay.
As well.
And these kids would necessarily have to have permission slips from their parents. And
they would.
Yeah.
Definitely. Unless obviously you're over 19.
Yeah.
19. But for safety reasons, yes. Because of the certain things that we'll be discussing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. We go on excursions all the time. I think every time we finish a topic, so once every other month, we go out and we have excursions. Like one of the last sessions I did, we actually had a girls' night. And I know they were watching, and I know they had a blast. So yay! Where we all put together and we stayed at one of the hotels overnight, and we did activities. And I think we went live. We did goal setting. So they had a certain amount of time up until the hotel night to do accomplish a goal.
Yeah.
And then they had to like prove that they accomplished it on live. It was really fun, actually. And if they didn't, there was a consequence. They had to eat a Scotch bonnet pepper, but nobody ended up doing it. You want to know why? Because one of my goals was to start doing these videos, and I didn't do it, and I didn't want to eat Scotch bonnet pepper. So I was just like, you know what, you guys, that's okay. We don't have to do it anymore. Yeah, I cheated. But I'm doing my videos now, so I think that counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So well, whenever you're ready to do that Scotch bonnet challenge, I'll be happy to
I can't even eat black pepper.
Oh wow. Oh.
Do you have something to say over there?
No.
Oh.
Oh man. So Kelly,
yes.
If you were to get a message out to the young people that are listening right now, to encourage them about your program or something in life, some positive quotes, what would you say to them?
Okay, I have two.
Okay.
So I have two mantras. One of them was for the younger girls, and I taught them what we used to say at the end of each session is, I don't need your validation. And that's obviously self-explanatory, but I'll explain it anyway. You do not need anybody to tell you who to be or how to be. Nobody can. There's a saying, I think it goes, you can't be anybody else because everybody else is taking something like be yourself kind of thing. So basically what it is nobody can tell you how strong you are or how beautiful you are inside or out. Nobody can tell you how smart you are. Nobody can tell you how good of a parent you are. Nobody can tell you what kind of Christian to be. You don't need anybody's validation. You don't need anybody to make you, to build up your confidence. No, you don't need anybody to tell you how to be the kind of person you are. Okay, that's the first one.
Okay.
And I need everybody who is listening, man, woman, dog, child, to remember that.
Okay.
If just be who you are unapologetically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, That's the word.
Yeah, I can't say certain words. Sorry.
Well, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Oh, thank you. And the second one is, and this is my favorite one, crown. Correct your crown.
Yeah.
We as women, we struggle throughout life, but we are so strong. You know, we bear children, we carry them, we deal with nonsense from our husbands and, you know, boyfriends and brothers and sisters. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we are so strong. And that's why a king needs his queen. Okay. Yes, we can stand on our own, but he needs that support. Let's be honest. Right?
Okay.
Am I wrong?
No, wrong.
I didn't think so.
Wrong, yeah.
No, I know. So basically what I'm saying is no matter how much you struggle, all of us, we are as queens, we carry our crowns, right? But through our struggle, sometimes we trip and we fall. We can do one or two things. We can lay there and then our crown just goes rolling down the hill with our hopes and our dreams and aspirations. Or we get back up, we dust ourselves off and we correct our crown and we keep it moving. That's what I would say. You don't need anybody's validation.
Yeah.
And correct your crown.
And that was well said.
Thank you.
I really like that. So we're just about to wrap this show up tonight. Kelly, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I hope your message resonates to whoever it needs to across the various social medias. And folks, let me just do my outro. Folks, we come to the end of another show of Unscripted Table Talk. We had two wonderful guests today who shared their knowledge, and I hope it was received as well as it was shared. If this is the sort of things that you like, if you hope you can like, share, subscribe. We'll put all of the necessary links in the description below. So be sure to check them out. You can reach Kelly for your mentorship and for any sort of advice or help in what you're going through in your day-to-day struggles, especially the females. And financial advice, I would say reach out to Keith. He has come here and he has imparted his knowledge. And both of these people are taking time out of the day to share their stories with you and give some knowledge and insights. So thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.